Hello and welcome once again to Quarterline. I do hope you're having a lovely day. Today we're going to be looking at the Morris Oxford. Now this is the Series 6, which was manufactured from 1961 to 1971. And yes, another Pininfarina design. This of course was manufactured by the British Motoring Corporation, BMC, which later became British Leyland. The name Oxford, of course, came from W.R. Morris, to name after the university town, similar to the Austin Cambridge once again, which it shared much of its design with. This particular brochure that we're going to look at today is from 1961, so this is when the launch of that new Morris Oxford Series 6 came out. Of course, the Series 6 was to replace the Series 5. We'll look at a few things that changed on this 6 from the 5, but overall, in the 10 years of production, little changed on this particular model. The price at launch was £869. Most of the sales, of course, in the UK. So let's have a look at that brochure now. Okay, so there is that brochure. It says on the quality first, the new Morris Oxford Series 6. Now when we say the new Morris Oxford, it's talking about 1961, which is when this brochure came out. Is the introduction, like we say, of that Morris Oxford Series 6. And like I say, it replaced the Series 5. It was related to many vehicles, in particular the Austin Cambridge. The Austin Cambridge A55 Mark II was the predecessor, so that would make this related to the Austin Cambridge A60. It was a 4-cylinder family car, and it would have been roughly a mid-sized car in the UK. These particular Morris Oxford Series 6 do mean a lot to myself, because really this is the first memory I had of a child of a car that I loved. My dad had a 1966 D registered version, which I loved dearly. So anyway, let's open up this brochure, and certainly what we will see with these brochures, the main differences between these 60s brochures to the 70s brochures that we've looked at recently, is we don't have any actual pictures of the cars. They are all drawings of the cars. It certainly shows a different era, and it really dates the brochure and the car, I guess. So let's open that now. So there we go. This is the first page. It opens up into a really nice drawing of a Morris Oxford Series 6. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, this might have been the same colour as my dad's car. This sort of like bluey grey shade with the white roof. And I particularly remember these chrome hubcaps with the M for Morris on them. What I always seem to think back to these Morris Oxfords and the differences between the Austin Cambridge, these Morris Oxford retained a bit of a fin, whereas the Cambridge kind of like rounded it off at this time. Although in fact one of the differences between this Series 5 and Series 6 is the Series 5 had bigger tail fins on it than this. If we look at them tail fins, they've kind of like shrunk from the Series 5, and I think it makes a much more elegant design. I guess I'm a little bit biased. This was my favourite Pininfarina design, but I guess that's probably from my memories more than anything else. But I do think it's a very elegant design. At the top there it says, here it is, brilliant, colourful, ready for the road, ready for you, for your family. The masterful new Morris Oxford Series 6. New with more power, safety, power for its famous engine. New with more down-to-earth stability in its broader track, its longer wheelbase. new with stylish repositioned overriders and more compact rear light assembly, reducing overall length by nearly 4 important parking inches. And yes, that was one of the changes from the 5. It did have a slightly longer wheelbase, a wider track. It also had anti-roll bars on front and rear suspension, really firming up the road holding. A car which overall made a more stable and better handling vehicle. In fact, this made the Morris Oxford Series 6 a genuine 80 mph car for the very first time. So there was some great improvements. So let's have a see what else we can find in this particular brochure. So here we have it. It kind of like folds out once and then twice more to make this really big sort of poster sized picture when you actually open it all out. At the top here it's talking about the 35 mile per gallon economy, and it's also talking about the size of the engine increasing from 1498cc to 1622cc. So like I say, making it a more capable vehicle, particularly being able, like I say, for the first time to do 80 miles per hour. It's also talking here about now being able to have an automatic transmission as an option. And we'll kind of bring the camera in a bit closer to look at a few more things that we can't quite see with it being folded out. Okay, so I'm trying to change the angle a little bit best I can. It is a difficult one to really show on camera, this, because how it folds out. But as you can see, this is another drawing of a Morris Oxford, this time in green and white. And like I said, this is where it talks about the new automatic transmission. It has this rear folding arm rest at the back, which I do remember very well as a child, and this really large boot area, which was quite big for the size of the car. And then a very nice seating. This looks like a red option. I think we had more of a grey seats on ours when we had that. There was a bench option at the front, and these nice carpets. I particularly remember this sort of like chrome horn on the steering wheel there, on quite a large steering wheel as they were at the time, because this of course is long before power steering came out. And there's quite a little period piece in here talking about sports car, road holding, big car luxury. Of course it wasn't a sports car by any stretch of the imagination, and it says quality first throughout, and it's talking about some of the changes on here, in particular like this. Try this door for size. It's big, broad, ample. Here's entry and exit without tiers, without laddered nylons, without knee knocking. A very period line, but sort of like period touches on these as well. I think this is one of the back pages. Brilliant successor to one of Britain's most successful cars. You get a better view of these fins at the back, and of course this is a all blue one without the white roof. I think it was actually the deluxe model that had the white roof on there. So there is one more page to look at, so we'll have a look at now. Okay, so this is the final specification sheet. It does talk about somewhere down here about the optional extras, which we'll touch on briefly. The base model had the option of the duotone body colours, so even on the base model you could get 2 colours as well by the looks of it. Heating equipment, rimbellishers. Well, I'm not sure what a rimbellisher is, to be honest with you. Maybe if you do, jot that down in the notes there. Basic and deluxe models, you could have that automatic transmission, and also wheel discs. It does also talk about the colours on here as well, which is over here. It talks about the colours and the duotone, which is the 2 colour option. And then it talks about selected accessories at the top here, available from your distributor or dealer, wing mirrors, BMC seat belts, fog and driving lamps, car valeting items, anti-mist panels, touch-up paint, individual hand tools, badge bar, fire extinguishers, rubber mats, switch panels and a roof rack. And then it talks about the colours. You can get a black with a red interior, a rose taupe with a red interior, in fact a tartan red, dove grey with tartan red, old English white with tartan red, maroon with dove grey, almond green with dove grey, Trafalgar blue with blue grey, and smoke grey with blue grey. And then your duotone. In all cases, roof colour will be old English white, with rose taupe with the rock tartan red, almond green with your dove grey, Trafalgar blue with your blue grey, and your smoke grey with your blue grey. It may have actually been smoke grey, the car we had actually. It's hard to remember, it's quite a long time ago. And of course then it talks about wheels being old English white for all specifications. No colour choice unfortunately, but it is nice to see that colour choice on there. At the bottom here we can see the little BMC badge on there. And then Morris Motors Limited, Cowley, Oxford, where they were built. So there we have it, the Morris Oxford Series 6 1961 brochure review. Like I say, lots of memories of the car, so it is one of my favourite cars. If you've got any memories of the car, please do jot it in the notes. It will always be nice to see those. I know there's a few of these cars still out there. Like I say, it ran from 1961 to 1971, virtually untouched, pretty much ignored by BMC. They just kind of let it run for them 10 years. So by 1971, it was a very elderly design. Recently we did a review of a Fiat X19, and don't forget that debuted in 1972, just to give you an idea how far out of date it was when it was finally axed. Another little bit of an interesting fact, Winston Churchill apparently had a couple of these later on in his life. So what did finally replace the Morris Oxford Series 6? Well, it's a bit of a strange one really, and all that I can think of that did replace it and came out just after the Morris Oxford was axed was the Morris Marina. Yes, a very different car, and certainly a story for another day. So thank you once again for watching Quarterlight. Please do like and subscribe. We'll see you soon. Take care and goodbye.